What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Recovery Talk. Before we get started, I just want to say I usually mention this in the end. I want to talk about it in the beginning, though. So I started going live a while back, like in the middle of the pandemic, with other alcoholics, other addicts, people in recovery, people who are sober, and have them share their story of how they used to suffer from an addiction and they no longer do. Also, just to give you guys a heads up, Sunday is Valentine's Day. I usually go live Saturday and Sundays, but this week, obviously, you can see I'm going live Friday and Saturday. Tomorrow, though, it's going to be different because tomorrow I will not have a guest on with me. I will be talking a little bit, sharing more about myself, and I also will be answering questions that you guys have. I created a post earlier. So you guys want me to answer any questions regarding addiction recovery, my personal life, whatever it is, you can go ahead and ask me. I got a bunch of questions already that I have all written down here. So I'll check in again at the end of the day. So I have all those questions ready. I will get through every single question that somebody asks. But we're still going to keep it between 3 to 4 p.m. tomorrow as well. But it'll just be me tomorrow answering questions and talking a little bit about my life and in recovery and how it has helped me. So today, guys, I got my friend Marcos coming on. He's going to tell his story, going to inspire some hope into the lives of all of the viewers. So I see him here trying to get in with me. So let me get him in for it. What's up, Nick? Whoa.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's up, bro? Good, man. Oh, let me see.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, bro. Hey, nice hat, bro. Let's see it. Whoa. What's up, bro? How's it going?
Everything's cool. Everything's good. Just getting ready for this little Valentine weekend.
Yeah? You got any special plans, bro?
Yeah, something.
Yeah?
Nothing too outrageous.
Yeah. I'll always just skip over Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, I'll buy myself a bunch of drugs and a hotel room, and that was my Valentine's Day.
Well, it's crazy because I got hired at my job officially on Valentine's Day.
Oh, really?
So I was like, this is like the perfect Valentine's Day. Like I'm in.
Call Joe, tell him I'm going live. Call Joe, tell him I'm going live. Yeah, okay, sorry. Talking to my wife. But yeah, bro, thank you for being here. Super excited to have you on. Share your story, man. I met you through Nick at Team 12. And man, I gotta say, man, like everybody Nick has introduced me to, man, everybody's real solid, bro. I love that stuff. You know what I mean? We're all kind of are like-minded as far as recovery goes, and like entrepreneurship, things like that, and that's great, bro. That's just, I thrive in those kind of environments and relationships with other people. See, there's only one thing I'm allergic to on this whole planet, and that's negative people, bro. I'm allergic to them. I stay far away from them.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Okay, Marcos, the freaking Puerto Rican. All right, bro, let's go. So before you get into telling your story, let me ask you, how long have you been sober?
I've been sober for 2 years. January 12th, 2019 is my...
Nice. All right, bro. And where are you from?
I'm from Woodland Hills, California.
Oh, damn, you rich, bro.
I was a plant.
Oh, man. Okay. And then the last question before we get into your story. What was your choice in drink and or drug?
I'm a heroin addict.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right.
That was the one.
Yeah, Ivy. Yeah, I don't know, bro. Like for me, like cocaine was my drug of choice. I mean, get it off the key, get it down on there, make a line, boom. It's like boom, like that. I didn't want to go through. Oh man, it's too much work. Trying to shoot it. I had friends that would shoot dope all the time, but I was like, nah, no. I can get it faster right through my nose.
I definitely have my cocaine days too. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, bro. So at this time, Marcos, I give you the floor to tell us your story, bro. So go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little prayer before I start.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
All right.
So let's start this off. Like I just said before, I was born in Woodland Hills, California. Both of my parents are from New York. They came over here. It's kind of crazy because they met out here, but they're both from New York.
Yeah.
So it's
Wow.
like, yeah, it's kind of weird to me. But so I grew up with two New Yorker parents in Woodland Hills, California. So you can kind of see how like that's two different worlds kind of combined. I have an older brother. He's 21 months older than I am. I have a baby sister. She's about to turn 23 in April. Super proud of her. She's about to graduate from UCLA, go to grad school, do all that type of stuff. So I'll talk about like my first memory. So my first memory, and my mom always reminds me of this. My first memory when I was younger, I was 3 years old, and I would wake up every morning at 3 o'clock or 3 a.m. in the morning, and I would have to have my mom fully dress me in a suit. Like that, like I couldn't go back to sleep unless I had my suit on, and you know, I had to make her put my loafers on and you know, all that stuff. So growing up in Woodland Hills, it was different because like my dad came out. My dad's a hustler. I definitely think I got like the positive gene from my dad as far as hustling. I feel like I got like my looks from my mom, my hustle from my dad, and then it's like my brother got my looks from my dad and my hustle and my mom's hustle. So it's like he got kind of like the mess up genes. I got the good genes. But so like I was saying before, me and my brother are 21 months apart. So we were basically like joined at the hip. You know, everywhere he went, I went. We both had the same friends. My brother was absolutely crazy, out of this world. Even still to this day, he calmed down a lot, but like younger, like he just, I guess that's another thing he picked up from my mom was like, she's a fighter. Like I wasn't scared of my dad growing up. I was scared of my mom. You know, like if my mom's like, I'm gonna call your dad. I'm like, call him. But like if she comes over, or like when she's there, she's the one who laid the law down. So like, I guess early on, I kind of had like this different outlook on women. I'm like, man, you guys are tough. Like you're sitting here and all that pretty stuff. Like I don't know. And my mom's beautiful. You would never be able to tell by looking at her that she's a fighter the way that she is. So growing up in Woodland Hills, my dad was a hustler. He brought us out here, or he came out here so he could hustle. And I'll just put it out there. He's an ex-drug dealer. So like we lived in Woodland Hills because of my dad. But like I always had like bare minimum. You know, like I was like, this is fucking crazy because I was always trying to keep up with my friends. Like I got friends with, you know, with $1 million homes and all that stuff. Like I didn't grow up like that. Like I grew up in Woodland Hills, but I grew up in like a standard house, moved every month, lived in motels for a little bit with my parents. Like at a young age, my parents taught me, I guess kind of subconsciously, about perception. If you can make people believe a certain way about you, then like, you know, I guess a form of manipulation. So like I learned that early on, mostly through my dad, because I would see him do some like pretty outrageous stuff and I'd be like, damn, okay. You know, so I kind of picked up on that. So I'm a middle child. So like it was me and my brother for 9 years until my sister was born. Then when my sister was born, it was like all about her. It was all about my sister. So like I had like that little baby syndrome of like I didn't want to grow up. And so like I can remember like that's my first resentment was like them in my eyes, them spending too much time and attention on my sister. And like it kind of just made me feel like I wasn't wanted or I wasn't loved. I was like, man, like this isn't enough. Also, when I was 7 years old, my mom's best friend was a psychologist at UCLA, and she got me tested. She gave me an IQ test, and I had 140 IQ. And my mom, like that was like for her, like, I don't know, it's almost like dollar signs appear appeared in her eyes. Like, she was like, I was like the token child. Like, from a young age, like, I was being groomed to be like the man of the house. My mom would always tell me, like, you know, you are gonna have to be the one to take care of everybody. Like, you have to be good. I need to make sure everything's okay with you. And like, that was just like way too much pressure for me at that age. So like, it started that cycle of like, all right, well, like, I'm gonna make sure that they see that I'm never gonna fill those shoes. You know, that mixed with my brother and him, he wasn't, you know, so fortunate in the brains department. So I would do a lot of the stuff that he would do, and then we'd get in trouble, and then like I would be the one who would end up getting in trouble, and he'd be the one who would end up like getting off with the shit, and I'd be like, man, that's crazy. Like, what? Why? That's my older brother. Like, I just want to be like my older brother. And my mom's like, you know better. You know better. He doesn't know better. You know better. And now looking back at it, I see what she's talking about, because I did know better. I did, you know, I did make a conscious choice to fuck my life off, really. So like growing up in Woodland Hills, it was like party scene. You know, it was just like nonstop partying. I started partying when I was like 12 years old. I definitely relate with the disease of alcoholism, because by the time I was 17, I had partied so much that I developed ulcers. I was throwing up blood from alcohol. And I got to the point to like, every time I took a shot, I'd go straight to the hospital. Like, I would have to go to the hospital, get IVs. And like, that was like a routine for me. Like, every weekend, I'm going to take some shots. I'm going to drink. And then like, I'm going to end up in the hospital. I'm going to end up with IVs in my arm. And then, you know, after that, like, I'll just chill out for the weekend. And like, I did that for a while, you know, for a long time. So I started out hustling at a young age. I was selling a lot of weed. And I ended up meeting this girl. And my whole dream was like, I want to do this legit. Like, I don't want to go to jail. You know, I need to make sure that I can do this to a point to where like, I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder and all that stuff. So I ended up meeting a girl, and then her mom funded she put down a investment for a medical marijuana dispensary. So like, I ended up doing that. It went all bad because, you know, I was dating the girl. We broke up. Some stuff started going on with her family. Stuff started going on with her family, and then once we got to the shop, it was just like total chaos, because she would do her thing and then I would do my thing. But like, when I did my thing, she didn't like it, because, you know, her ego and her pride was hurt, and I couldn't say anything about her doing her thing, because her parents, her mom, the one who put in the cash, always had her back. So like, she was constantly watching me and doing all of that type of stuff. So like, some stuff went down, and I ended up leaving the shop. I just walked out one day. Like, I couldn't do it. It was way too much pressure at that age. And so after that, like, that's what started my downward spiral, because like, I don't know, I guess I kind of failed myself. So like, I just had all this guilt and shame of like, why aren't you living up to your potential? And then I started selling pills. And then after I started selling pills is when I started, you know, becoming my own best customer. And I ended up a heroin addict. You know, I met this girl. And then you go back to, you talk about, you know, the disease. I remember when I first started dating my ex, she asked me, she's like, you know, why don't you do these? I was selling oxys. And I remember telling her, I was like, no, like, this isn't my drug. Money's my drug. I like money. So like, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to use my product. And then I ended up making her my higher power. I made my customer my higher power. And I ended up strung out on heroin, you know, shortly after. So like, that led to like prison term after prison term after prison term. I did 3 prison terms. And that's when I decided to get clean. And I'll kind of speed up to like the getting clean part, because like, you know, a lot of that stuff, although it helped shape the person that I am, I'm trying to progress in life. So like a lot of that stuff is stuff that I want to leave behind. So getting clean or sober, however you want to put it, right?
Yeah.
So I got sober at this treatment center that I now work at. They call it the House on the Hill. You guys might be familiar. It's Impact. So I got clean over there, and it was crazy because for some reason I just knew. I was like, I'm not gonna get clean anywhere else. I had heard so much stuff about Impact, you know, and I was like, all right, I need to get into Impact. And it was kind of crazy because everybody's like, oh, there's a 3-month waiting list. It's gonna take you a while to get in there. This and this and that. This and this and that. And I'm like, all right. So for the first time in like my entire life, I took some initiative and I called them, and they're like, all right. It was like a Wednesday when I called them, and they're like, all right, come on Tuesday. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, all right.
It's happening.
Like, yeah, it's going down. All right. I guess this is really it. You know, like I got to go with this. So I stayed at my mom's house, and she dropped me off in treatment. And it got real, like really quick. I was kicking heroin, and I just started practicing that contrary action because I knew that, you know, what I had been doing landed me in some bad places. Mm-hmm. So I knew, like, all right, maybe you don't have everything under control like you thought you did. And like, I didn't think I was an addict when I first got to treatment. I didn't think I was an addict. I just thought that, like, because I equated drug addict with being like on Skid Row and just like the bottom of the barrel, and like, you know, me, my pride and my ego was like, oh no, I'm not that. No, yeah. Not me, not this guy right here. Like, little did I know that, yeah. I am. So
I can relate.
You said what?
I can relate.
Right. So when I got there, I like I said, I started practicing that contrary action, and like I just dug into the step work. Like my whole life was like 24-hour step work. Like I need to find out what's wrong with me. There's something going on with me. I need to find out what's wrong with me, you know? And so like I started digging into that step work, and I got a sponsor on detox. You know, I got blessed with a sponsor who I actually met at the treatment center, and like we kicked it off right away. I cried for the first time in front of this man. And like I started like feeling better, you know. I started like getting a little bit of confidence about me. And so I started getting into that step work, and then I started working the steps, and then like I worked the steps like my life depended on it, because at the end of the day, it did. And it still does today. Like my life depends on this shit, because I know when I use, I know where I go. You know, I know where I go. And like, I'm not the type of drug addict who like dies and overdoses. I'm the type of drug addict who like spends life in purgatory on a prison yard. You know, that's the type of drug addict that I am. So I try to remember that honesty about myself. So like once I got to treatment, once I got into treatment, I got into recovery, and then I started reading that book, and shit started coming to life for me. Like I remember my sponsor told me, he's like, look, go through the book. I did Narcotics Anonymous. Go through the book and highlight everything that relates to you. And then I remember by the time I was done, I highlighted the whole entire book. And I was like, holy fuck. And like for the first time, I actually like it talks about when you can tell yourself that you're an addict. I think it says when you intercede to your innermost self and accept the fact that you're an addict, that's when you can start step one. And I finally told myself, but like it was such a relief for me, because I was like, holy fuck. I was like, holy fuck, like, it's not just me. It's not just me. Like, okay, there's a problem. Now that I know that there's a problem, I can figure out what the solution is, you know? And once I started getting into that solution and I stopped worrying about the problem, like, things just started getting easier for me. So, like, for me, the solution was like, all right, get into this book, get into some step work, start writing some shit on the paper, start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Start dealing with yourself, start learning how to sit with yourself, and start figuring out what is really going on, because there's something not right. You know, when you're okay with standing in front of a mirror and shooting heroin into your neck, there might be something a little wrong there. You know, so just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. But, so I started working the program, and then I started getting more into the work aspect, and I started figuring out how to balance my recovery with work. And I joined a program there where I worked 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 7. There'd be weeks, I remember for like 2 months straight, I worked every day, 16 hours a day. But it taught me how to advocate for myself. Because there'd be days, like I remember I was on night shift and I was doing graveyard shift for 2 months, and I wasn't getting my meetings. And I went to my boss and I told my boss, I'm like, look, check this out. If I'm not able to go to meetings, I'm no good for this place. So if I can't go to meetings, you might as well let me go now, because I can't do this. Like I want to be here, I want to work, but at the same time, like my recovery comes first. That's what you taught me. Yeah. And so my boss was like, all right, we're taking you off for night funds tonight. I'm like, cool. So I'll rewind a little bit. So my first traumatic event in recovery was I had my best friend overdose. And I had just talked to him like a week before. Everything was going good. He moved out to Texas, bought himself a house in Texas. He was clean. He wasn't using. And then I got a random phone call one day, and one of my homegirls, she's like, yo, Nick's dead. Nick OD'd. And like, I didn't want to believe it, but it was one of those moments to where like my whole life stopped. And I remember calling his phone and his girlfriend picking up the phone, and his girlfriend being like, yeah, we found him in the bathroom and we overdosed. So like, all right, now it's time to get into the solution. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So I did the shit that they taught me to do. I called my sponsor, and my sponsor told me straight up, my sponsor was like, look, you have 2 options here, right? You could, 1, die with him, or you can, 2, live for him. You can either get buried right next to him in the grave, if that's what you want to do, or you can work on yourself, and you can realize that you have a shot. And he also told me, he's like, and don't make this about you. You're still alive. He's not coming back. You're still alive. So you don't get to make this about you. And he was right. Although at the time I was like, I'm not trying to hear this shit. But he was right at the end of the day. I had to grow up. I had to grow up and realize like I had been given chance after chance after chance after chance. And I got to stop shitting on my opportunities. I have to. So I need to learn from this. And I need to learn a lesson. And I remember I wrote a letter to him, and I read it in front of my boss. I cried and I grieved. For the first time, I actually grieved. And like, that was like, it was just like all this weight coming off of my shoulders. So I started advocating for myself, right? And they started respecting that. And I put my recovery first. And even to this day, my recovery comes first before anything or everything. If I'm feeling any certain way, it's time for me to like really, like do those 10-step inventories and do the work on your character defects and keep myself in check. So that's helped me. And I worked for those 16-hour days. And then I met Nick when I had like 90 days. I think I had like 90 days. I had seen what he was doing with the Team 12, and he told me about his vision, and I was like, yo, that's dope. That's so dope. Like, dude, I support you like 100%. I remember wearing those no heroin shirts around. And the thing that I loved about Nick is that like Nick was the friend, even though I just met him, Nick was like of service. Like I would call Nick and I would be like, yo, Nick, I need you to come swoop me up. I'm going to go off on one of these motherfuckers here. I need to go hit a meeting. Please. And Nick would come and swoop me up. He'd take me to the Dickens meeting on Ventura Boulevard every Friday night. But other than that, he started showing me about like being creative. My whole entire life, I draw. Like that's what I love to do. Like I draw. I was one of those people who get tweaked out and draw. That's what I did. But even before then, even before I even really started picking up like that, like I remember I just would always have a sketchbook and I would always draw. So Nick, he introduced me into the clothing part of it, and being creative in recovery, and like that has helped so much, because like for me it's just a way to express myself. It's a way to get those crazy thoughts out, get them onto something, and keep them there, and then just let them go. And so for shit, still to this day, I juggled that 16-hour job. I juggled the going to the shop with Nick, and helping him make some clothes, and my recovery. So like I say that to say that like it is possible. There is no excuse why you can't get your recovery. There's no excuse. If you don't want to get your recovery, it's because you don't want to get your recovery. I had every excuse when it came to using. Oh, I can't get clean because, I got some friends over here who need my help. Like, we're all getting loaded together. Like, I'm pretty sure they'll be all right without me. So like, I had every excuse to get clean. And like, and it talks about in the Narcotics Anonymous book, when you come to the last house on the block and you're all out of options. By the time I had got to recovery, I was all out of solutions. I had no more solutions. I mean, no more excuses. I had no more excuses. There was nothing I could say, because the whole time I was making excuses, I was just lying to myself. That's all I was doing. I was just lying to myself, and I was just putting in a lot of negative energy, telling myself, I can't. When the reality of it is like, no, you can. You can. Like, I believe that you can do whatever it is you want to do. You just have to stop making excuses for not doing it. Being in recovery has taught me about taking action, about being accountable, about holding myself accountable. So I did that with Nick, and we've had a friend before anything. Like, Nick's probably my best friend before anything, but then we started to develop a business relationship, and I started like seeing what he was doing, and it's crazy because like when I implement those spiritual principles, like open-mindedness, the doors that open up are so endless. Like, I remember being in my addiction and being like, no, this is what I'm doing. I gotta open another shop. I gotta open another shop. Like, I gotta be that person that I was. I gotta be the person that that people like. I want people to like me. Like, that's all I wanted. And I was so closed-minded when I was getting loaded. And I'm really seeing the importance of being open-minded, and like where it's transformed and where it's taken me today is like something that I would never have even expected for myself. Like, which is funny too, because like I always tell people like, man, like I just missed the mark. Because like I've always been into fashion. I've always been, both my parents are from New York. That's the fashion capital. Growing up, my parents used to dress me and my brother in like matching clothes, and make sure, like, although we didn't really have the money to do it, they made sure that we were the freshest kids on the block. That's how we did it. So that spiritual principle of open-mindedness has like transformed, and it continues to transform today. And like I do my best to work these spiritual principles, and it's crazy because like now everything that's important to me meant nothing to me when I got loaded. So all of those excuses that I made it's another example of those excuses were nothing but excuses, because like, oh, I want to be a better child to my mom. So like, what do? Go out and continue to use. And it's like now today, like I have a relationship with my mom. I got a relationship with my sister. I have meaningful relationships to where like I have people I can call in my life that like I know are going to be there for me no matter what, and that have always been there for me. And like people who just genuinely want to see me do better. And I think you had talked about like a second ago, like surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Yeah. And I think like that's why this stuff works out so well, because like I feel like it's an energy thing, and like get around somebody who believes in themselves and believes in me, and like we can, and vice versa. I believe in them and they believe in me. It's like the perfect recipe for success. Yeah. And so yeah, so today, like like, it's just, everything is like way better than it has ever been in my entire life. You know, I'm here for the Team 12 meeting every Friday. I have another meeting that I have a commitment on Sunday. You know, I talked to my sponsor. I just got off the phone with my sponsor last night. And it's funny to me too, because like one of the things that having a sponsor has done for me has shown me like, damn, like I am going to need this shit for the rest of my life. Because I talk to my sponsor sometimes and I'm like, this, and he's got 19 years. I'm like, this motherfucker has 19 years and he still thinks like this. Like, I have a fucking shot. I have a shot. You know? And so, yeah, and so that's pretty much what my story is now. You know, I still work in treatment. You know, I'm here with Nick at the shop all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I still use that same hustle. Oh, I'll tell you another story. I still use that same hustle now that I did when I was loaded, but like for a different cause. Like, the other day I went to go sell one of my friends a hat, and like I sat in the car, he met me at a gas station, I sat in the car and I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy fuck, this feels like a drug deal. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, first of all, motherfucker, it's not. Second of all, like, I learned something. I've learned to like do that shit that I talked about doing when I was getting loaded. That's the shit that like I like to do today now that I'm clean. You know, I always tell people like pipe dreams. I had so many pipe dreams that like to me they were so real, but like I just had nothing to keep up with the footing to make it happen. You know, and so like today I'm trying to make all, well, I won't even say trying because that's a half-hearted attempt. I am making all of those pipe dreams a reality. And, you know, sometimes I get in my own way and sometimes my head goes up my ass and sometimes, you know, I need to hear like an attaboy and, you know, you're doing good, because at the end of the day, I'm a big baby and I'm super sensitive and, you know, and and I care about people and I'm passionate about stuff. And so like, I'm very hard on myself. So like, I'm learning how to be gentle with myself and, just accept the good. I've had a very tough life up until this point. And I wasn't able to accept good in my life because I didn't think I deserved it, you know? Yeah. And now that I'm putting in the footwork and that I am having good things happen in my life, I'm starting to accept that. I'm starting to accept that in my life and like not self-sabotage. I was huge on self-sabotage. I get right up to the finish line, right? Like, for example, with that shop, I got to the point to where I opened the shop and then I was like, all right, this is it. All right, I did it. I'm cool. And then I'm like, you know what? How can I fuck this off? And like, now, like my life, I don't fuck mine off anymore. Like, I just continue to progress. And one thing I will say is like, it's gotten so much better. It's gotten so much better, and I'm starting to accept the fact that I'm putting in the work and I'm getting the results because of it. I just gotta put in that work.
That's right. That's right, bro. Oh wow. Thank you so much, man. You know, I can relate, you know, to you, like, bro, like everything. Even though like I'm from Hawaii, you're from Woodland Hills, like the feelings you felt, the things you did, just those. You see, we all have like different experiences, but it's like the feelings are the same though. You know, that'll bring us to whatever it is. My thing was drugs and alcohol. Other people could be sex, it could be gambling, whatever. You know, it's all intertwined and very similar. You know, I really like I like the way you think in regards to you know, like having a good work ethic, you know, being an entrepreneur. Having that no excuse kind of attitude. You know, so when I was young, my dad would always tell me, and he still tells me this to this day, honestly. He tells me, look, in life, you can either make excuses or you can make it happen, but you cannot make both. And like, and he's usually in like a 2-hour lecture, right around 2 hours, he throws that in there, you know. Like from when I was a teenager all the way up to an adult to today, he still like coaches me and mentors me and counsels me. You know, and that stuff that I really, because my dad he was a born entrepreneur. All he had was businesses. You know, like he didn't work for anybody. He always owned businesses, and he did you know, the same thing your dad did as well. You know, like he never worked for 6 years. You know, he never worked. But you know, it's just amazing, bro. To you know, like what you talked about, like your experiences that from when you first met Nick and how it's this, like like you know, I'm going through the same exact thing with Nick too right now. You know, and Nick, he is a great guy, bro. And sorry, he was messaging me earlier, like you were getting all serious, and I was starting to laugh because of a text message he wrote me. But you know, I mean, I got so much love for Nick, for you, bro, for everybody, for my man Johnny. I see him over there. What's up, fam?
Johnny
What's
G,
grounded, fam?
fam?
Yeah, you know, it's awesome, man. Like I was telling Nick this too last week when he went live with me. It's you know, people like us in recovery, like I mean, we kind of like we're special people, like not in the way people might think. It's what I mean is people who are active in their recovery, not people who are just sober or who you know, like people active in recovery that are actively doing the work. Like when we do that and we start seeing what we really are like and we start dealing with certain character defects, I mean, and stuff is a process. Like me having a friendship with Nick and now a business relationship with Nick. See, it's not like we're trying to take advantage of each other. You know what I mean? And you know, honestly, it's because we are in recovery. It's those things that we've learned, those kind of principles we've learned and apply in our lives. Because honestly, this is so the world is the opposite way. Like what I learned is, look, if I want to if I want to increase, okay, go give. You want, and then like every time I've ever done that, I've always gotten it back way more. Whether it was financial, whether it was like giving up my time or certain like commitments in my fellowship or something like that. Anytime I gave, it always came back to me, man. You know, I never try to do that active in my addiction though. Because hey, it was all about me, man.
Yeah, man. And if I did give you something, trust and believe it's in the memory bank, and we're gonna hear about it later.
Yeah. Oh, bro. Okay. All right. So, as we're winding down now, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. So the first one is, so since you've been sober, Marcos, what has recovery taught you?
Oh man, to be a man.
Oh, there you go.
To be a man, to keep your word. To when you say something. When I was growing up, one of the things that really killed me was my dad had made me promise after promise after promise, and had never ever, and even till this day, he's still the same way. Never kept it. And one thing recovery has taught me is like, mean what you say, and if you can't do it, don't say you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's taught me accountability, how to be accountable, how to be a responsible human being, how to play well with others, how to be of service, how to give back without expectation in return.
Yeah.
You know, it taught me all of these things, like, and it taught me a whole new way of life.
Yeah, bro. Me too. Everything you just said, that's everything I learned as well. You know, because, you know, active in addiction, like I got really, really cunning, bro. I could charm people to get what I want, and you know, and something I learned too along the I learned this active in addiction, but I can actually implement it actually now that I'm sober, because I learned from this guy. His name is John Maxwell. He said, look, because the charm, charisma, you know how people they like people with charisma, like they're drawn to people like that. See, charisma will get me in the door, but my integrity will keep me in the door. You see, I could get in the door, but I'll boom, they boom me right back out. You know?
Once they find out who I really am, they're like,
yeah. You know, this literally, I'm not exaggerating. Every woman I had a relationship with, as soon as they met the real me, bam, they were gone, bro. You know, my good looks could only take me so far.
You know what? I always met ones that were just as sick as I was, so we had very, very toxic relationships.
Yeah. Well, that's great, bro. That's very inspiring for me to hear, you know. Even though I'm coming up on a birthday actually next week. Okay. But you know, no matter how much time I have sober, every time I hear somebody talk recovery and how it's changed their life, it will always get me real fired up, man. I don't know. I can't turn that switch turn on and it broke, you know, just permanently on in me now, you know. So, okay. The next question. What do you do to maintain your sobriety?
it's pretty. I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but like I have a sponsor. I go to meetings. I work the steps. I'm of service. To be honest with you, my clothing line has helped me maintain sobriety a whole lot. Working with Team 12 and being able to give back to other people has been like such a key role in my recovery. I do it as much as I can.
Yeah. You know, talking about Bless Savage, that's the next question I was going to ask. So you have your own clothing line. You started that. Tell us a little bit about it, your plans for it, and how did you come up with the name Bless Savage?
To be honest with you, I was when I was with Nick at the original shop in Hollywood at his cousin's shop, and I was over there, and originally like, I was like, you know what, I just want to make some clothes that like I like to wear, you know what I mean, like that's like all I wanted to do, and it's gonna sound kind of corny, but I remember I woke up one day and I was like, Bless Savage, that's it. And originally I wanted it to be Bless Savages, and then I went back to Bless Savage, and then I went back to Bless Savages, and then Nick one day was like, oh, you should just do Bless Savage. It kind of rolls off your tongue a little bit better. And then I was like, you know, I didn't tell him, but I was like, this motherfucker, right? Like, that was my idea, motherfucker. But I was like, this motherfucker, right?
No,
so, you know,
bro.
it kind of just came to me one day, because like my whole thing is like, I can relate so much to those two words. I can relate so much to those two words because like there's some situations where I'm savage, but I'm always blessed.
Right.
I'm always blessed.
That's cool, bro. And so you got any plans moving forward in the future for Bless Savage?
You know what, and I'm gonna make this statement now because I've learned in recovery that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. You guys will see Bless Savage. Guarantee you. Like, you're gonna walk into a store one day, you know, what store that might be, I don't know, and there will be Bless Savage in there. I can guarantee you that's gonna happen. I'm gonna make that happen. You know, I want. For me, when I put on the shirt, when I first put on the Bless Savage shirt, like the feeling that I got was so like human, you know, like I just felt good, you know, I felt like, man, like almost like a sense of accomplishment, because it's like, fuck, like I can accept the fact that I'm blessed, and I can accept the fact that I'm savage. I ain't fucking perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's a whole lot of plans that I have going for Bless Savage, and it's opened the door. The doors have opened so much, even so far, you know, just working with Team 12 and working with Nick and working with Johnny Gio, and you know, and working with you, Alika, and just expanding the network. Like, my whole dream for Bless Savage is like a clothing line that like everybody can wear. I don't care if you're a grandma. I don't care if you're a toddler. I don't care if you're not. It doesn't matter if you're white. It doesn't matter if you're black. It doesn't matter if you're Hispanic. Like, I think that's something that everybody can relate with.
Yeah. No, I agree too, man. And you know, I like you know, I like how you're declaring that you will see it in stores. You know, I'm a huge believer that our words have creative power. I actually just posted something, I think it was yesterday, and I was talking about basically, because I believe our words, you know how when we're kids, we learn, you know, sticks and stones can break our bones, but words can never hurt us. Bro, that is a huge lie. That is a huge lie. I believe words will hurt you even worse than, like, feel like I'd rather get physically hurt than mentally or psychologically, you know, hurt. But you know, you releasing those words, you know, just like that law of attraction, bro. Same kind of thing, you know. That's great, because I do a lot of that. You know, it's and it kind of sounds, and I speak it out loud so my ears can hear it. You know, it's great thinking about it, but when I'm speaking it, you know, it's boom, 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 boom. It's getting out there, bro. It's super powerful. So I like that about you. Let's see, what was the next one? Okay, here's one. What are you most grateful for?
What am I most grateful for? I'm most grateful to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm most grateful that I don't have to live the way that I used to live. I'm most grateful for, I mean, everything from the smallest, smallest things. I mean, every morning I pray and I thank God for my sobriety. My sponsor taught me how to do that. He told me, get on your knees, pray to remove the obsession, and pray and thank God for your sobriety. So I'm so super grateful for my sobriety, and I'm so super grateful that I don't have to live the way that I did before.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's so good because, you know, I ask people this question quite often, you know, when I go live, and it's great that, you know, people who are in recovery actually have something to be grateful for. Like, I don't know anybody that in recovery, but when they're active in their addiction, oh yeah, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my car. You know what I mean? We're not grateful for anything. You know,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
that's a big point. There was a whole lot of ungratefulness in
Yeah, exactly. But it's so amazing how, you know, being so ungrateful. I mean, no, but don't get me wrong. You can still be ungrateful and be sober. Like that's possible. You know, but honestly, that's not a life I would want to live. Personally, I wouldn't want to do that because I know people in recovery that, you know, I mean, they're just sober. I'll just say that. You know what I mean?
Abstinent.
Yeah, that's it. Like they got no program, they got like no recovery in them. See, next week Wednesday, if I continue to stay willing, I will be 4 years sober, but I will have just as much recovery in me too. I'm not just 4 years sober. Right. You know what I mean? So, cause like I remember, like, you know, even to today, like I hear, like I go to meetings or certain like recovery events or something. But typically this happens in meetings. Like I'm listening to the speaker and I'm thinking to myself, oh, thank God I'm not new. Because like, I mean, yeah, I know, because I'm thinking to myself, like, you sound like, wait, you got 9 years, but you sound like you're brand new. You know what I mean? Like what happened there? You know. But I'm very
pick up a book.
Yeah, like I'm very careful though because my mind can go from observing to judging them, bam, like that. You know? See, okay, last question, bro, and then we'll wrap this up. What would you say, Marcos, to somebody out there that's still struggling with addiction that wants to get sober?
I would say make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Make a choice.
Oh, action. You're an action guy. I like that.
Make a choice. One of my favorite slogans, and I'm a group facilitator. I tell people in the group all the time, is Nike. Just do it.
Yeah,
just do it. You know, I remember when I got clean, I had to like not start walking one foot in front of the other, and start taking the action. You know, take the action, but make a choice. If you want to get clean and make a choice. There is a solution. There's a place you can go. There's people that can help. You know, we all get it. You know, that power of relating to somebody else, like, was so mind blowing when I got to treatment and people started talking about having the same feelings that I had, and like that was so mind blowing. So like I would say, like, you're a human being. You have bad days. You have good days. You know, you have feelings. We all have feelings. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay. We just learn how to deal with them. We learn how to cope with them. So, like, I would say, give yourself a chance. Give yourself a shot. Like, everybody's worth it and everybody's capable of it.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. You know, I'm, you know, the more I get to know you, the more I'm like, dang, man, this guy really similar, you know, because I'm an action guy. See, I'm a thinker, of course, but I'm a doer. I'm going to do something. Like, if I'm going to do something, boom, I'm going to do it. And I was like that active in my addiction. You know what I mean? I'm going to get high. Oh, trust me, I'm going to get high. Don't worry. You know, like, right. But like, it wasn't even that. It could have been other things, like even in my career or just whatever. But typically it was things that would hurt me, honestly, like what I would be doing. And I remember speaking to somebody, I think it was my dad, you know, about he really supports what I'm doing, being sober and doing all these things. And you know, it's like he said, it's good that you can go on and educate other people. And I agree, but like, that's just like half the solution. See, if I can, like, through being a counselor or, a sponsor in my 12-step program or something, like, having the knowledge is great, but then you also got to take action. That's the other part. It's like having a bullet with no gun or a gun with no bullets. You need both of them. And then pop, 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 you can pull the trigger, kind of thing. Because it would be, I could have all this stuff about 12 steps, everything, all these spiritual principles. And, I know all of them, but I never apply it. My life will never have changed at all. So for me, that's where I just excelled. I guess you could say that I excelled at doing the work because, like, I was just too damn tired. I was sick and suffering. I wanted to get down to causes and conditions, and I wanted my life to change. So I was like, just point me in a direction, somebody.
Right.
I'm going. I'm gone.
Right.
And that's kind of what happened to me. And then, like, here I am today, almost 4 years later. Now, I'm married. We just had a baby. Beautiful place we live in, and I got a bunch of money in the bank account. It's not going out. You know what I mean? I got goals. I got dreams. I got things that I got a purpose to fulfill, a call to answer, and it's amazing though, like, how much your life can absolutely change by getting sober and taking action. It's great. But I want to thank you again, bro, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Instagram gotta do it to where you can be like Zoom. You can have a bunch of people in it and go live at the same time. It's only one at a time now for now, but I'm sure they will change that, soon.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be sick.
Yeah, but thank you, bro. You want to say anything before we wrap this up?
I feel like I've talked enough.
Okay. Oh, no worries. No worries. It's all good.
I've talked enough. Thank you, though. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Whoever out there who hopefully this helps somebody, even if it's just one person.
Yeah. Oh, hey, it helped me, bro. So bam, perfect.
Perfect. So then we did our job.
Hey, also, sorry, Nick just reminded me. So tonight there's a Team 12 meeting at 8 p.m. They go live on Team 12's Instagram, also on Zoom. So you can check Team 12's story, reach out to Nick, reach out to me, and then you can get the information from us there as well. But thank you again, Marcos. I really appreciate you, bro. I'll see you at the meeting tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro.
Take it easy.
All right, guys, that was Marcos. Now, just a little reminder, tomorrow, I'm not having anybody on, but I will be on, talking a little bit more about myself on the Pro Recovery Power live. And also, I'll be answering a lot of questions. I created a post, and I posted it to my story on my personal page, and this one as well, of questions you guys want me to answer in regards to addiction recovery, maybe something about my personal life. I'm a really open book, so it's all good. I believe in being honest, open, transparent, and vulnerable is you can reach people. It's the most effective way to reach somebody. And, I'm not ashamed of my past at all. It has made me to the man I am today. So anyway, you guys, I still be live tomorrow right here on Pro Recovery Power at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you guys have a great Friday. Aloha.